Hello, AP Chemistry students. Welcome to another lesson video here. So today I'm going to be optimistic. We're going to try to do a couple things, and maybe instead of one really long video, we'll do a couple small ones. So this first video is about empirical and molecular formulas. So let me go ahead and use the camera on here, okay? So what is an empirical formula? What is a molecular formula? What's the difference between them, okay? So molecular formulas are kind of what you would think that all along. These are formulas like, I don't know, C6, H12O6, good old glucose molecule, or C3H8, a propane molecule, or CO2, right? And these tell us the exact elements and exact number of atoms. I think atoms is a pretty good word here. Sometimes we can substitute the word ions, but there's you might see why I didn't say ions in this case here. Okay, empirical formulas are not the exact elements and the exact numbers, but the lowest whole number ratio of atoms in a compound. All right, so there's a reason why years ago, before you took chemistry, you learned how to reduce fractions, because empirical formulas don't have the exact numbers. They have the ratio of the atoms in a compound. So that's kind of a key word, ratio versus exact, okay? And empirical formulas you don't look up so much. And so in this first little lesson, I want you to make sure you know the difference between, here we have them here, and then how do we compare an empirical and molecular formula, or swap back and forth, okay? So empirical formulas, well, let's see here. Let's do a couple practice ones. If this was the molecular formula was C6H12O6, right? The empirical formula could be reduced. A 6 to 12 to 6 ratio is the same as a 1 to 2 to 1 ratio. So we have one carbon, we don't put the 1 in. We put the 2 hydrogens, and we have the 1 oxygen. So this would be the corresponding empirical formula for this molecular formula, okay? Our second example up there was C3H8. And actually, we cannot reduce 3 to 8 ratio any smaller. So C3H8 is also the empirical formula. And that can happen. The lowest number ratio can be the exact numbers, okay? For instance, if I gave you water, we know water is exactly H2O, but a 2 to 1 ratio could also be H2O if we were to have cut it down, okay? So I think you should be able to catch on to that. If you want to practice a simple practice one, practice this one here. What if I gave you H2O2? That's hydrogen peroxide. What would be its empirical formula? You can pause. It shouldn't take you too long. I've stalled enough seconds. All right, and that would be H1O1, which looks like HO. Okay, so empirical and molecular formulas. Hopefully you know the difference, and if you were given a molecular formula, we could easily become an empirical formula. Doing the opposite, going from empirical formulas to molecular formulas, is quite challenging, and I think we'll put that off till another day. All right, I'm going to hit stop, and another video is coming soon.